Welcome to Portside Conversations, the official podcast for the BVI Ports Authority and your Portside seat to authentic voices and bold ideas. Today we're diving into a story of vision, transformation, and national impact, the evolution of the Cyril B. Romney Tortola Pier Park, widely known as the Tortola Pier Park. From its early beginnings as part of the territory's cruise infrastructure to the modern, dynamic space we know today, the Tortola Pier Park has become more than a point of arrival. It is our gateway to the Virgin Islands experience. But behind this transformation is a deep story, one of strategic development, collaboration, and the role of the BVI Ports Authority in shaping the territory's maritime and economic landscape. So in this episode, we're going to explore how the Tortola Pier Park has influenced tourism, supported local entrepreneurship, enhanced visitor experience, and helped position the Virgin Islands as a leading destination in the region. So let's jump right in with the CEO of the Cyril B. Romney Tortola Pier Park, Mr. Vance Lewis. Welcome to Portside Conversations.
And thank you, and good morning, Alicia.
Good morning. So we're going to jump right in, and I want to ask you, I know that the Pier Park has now met its 10-year milestone, so you're celebrating 10 years, and it has been a journey. But I want to ask, when you think about the Tortola Pier Park, what stands out most to you now, and how is it different from where it all began?
The thing that hits me most is the contrast between where we were and where we are, and the journey from where we were to where we are, which is what I think we're going to be looking at today. Mm-hmm. It's a stark contrast. Because we literally rose out of the ashes. There was an area in just on Wickham's Quay 1, which was called Tent City, way back. And Tent City is where we used to house cruise ship passengers when they came. Today we've grown to much more and a modern facility which docks modern cruise passengers, modern cruise ships, bringing quite a lot of cruise passengers, and a shopping, dining, and entertainment area, which is basically the Cyril B. Romney Tortola Pier Park. It wasn't always called the Cyril B. Romney Tortola Pier Park. Mr. Romney is locally known as the father of cruise tourism in the BVI.
Right.
And a few years ago, the BVI Ports Authority and the government agreed that it was fitting to name the facility after him in honor of what it is. But that is the main thing that stands out to me. Huge contrast from Tent City to modern buildings accommodating all the modern amenities associated with our cruise passengers. Initially, we were happy to have cruise passengers, and we thought that that was it. Cruise passengers come in and they take a tour, see the beauty, because the British Virgin Islands are so beautiful naturally. But we could only accommodate very small ships. And the trend of that day, and still continuing today, in many ways, was towards bigger cruise lines. And we couldn't accommodate that. We had a dock which was just 900 feet in length, and I think it was 30 feet wide. For us to be able to accommodate the larger ships, we had to have a facility which could accommodate them in terms of strength, in terms of length, and in terms of width. And then to accompany the dock, first of all, the dock was lengthened to 12 feet, widened from 30 to 55 feet, and strengthened to accommodate the breakaway class type ships from Norwegian, which accommodates just over 4,000 passengers and 1,600 up to 2,000 passengers crew. So having done that, it became a game changer. But as part of the vision, since cruise passengers do not come and stay aboard the ship, the vision foresaw the development of a shopping complex with different amenities. And our tagline then was See, Shop, Stay, basically because we wanted to make sure we had everything any passenger would need. And what makes us different as well in terms of the vision is we were developed with a view to also accommodating local passengers, local residents within the facility. We're one of the few facilities within the region that can do that. Yeah.
Good.
So that vision to make sure we offer something more earned us in 2016 Port of the Year.
Nice. Because I am listening to you with that, and I was wondering, why was it so important for us to modernize the cruise facilities?
Well, we had to modernize to stay in the business. If we didn't modernize, if we didn't strengthen and lengthen the dock, then we'd still be dealing only with very small cruise lines. But the government also, to make sure that the development could pay for itself, did a berthing agreement. BVI Ports Authority did a berthing agreement with Magical Cruise Lines, better known as Disney Cruise Lines, and Norwegian. This then, once it was inked, became bankable. So funds could be borrowed to do the development for both the dock and the landing facility known as the cruise pier, which is being developed on a 5-acre plot of land with multiple buildings housing all different amenities. Yes.
So in your view, what changed the most once the pier became modernized?
So instead of a mom and shop approach, we had 10 city, everyone selling T-shirts, everyone selling pretty much the same thing. We then decided on the facility side to have an organized facility where we'd have a healthy tenant mix of things that cruise passengers look for. And by having that healthy tenant mix, we did some research to find out what is it that cruise passengers really want when they land. So the facets of ensuring that they can take organized tours, they can do independent tours, and we accommodate for that as well. But they can also shop within the facility for anything that they might want as well. And in addition to that, they can visit nearby Road Town, and they can visit anywhere in the Tortola area through island tours.
Going to the beaches.
We have cuisine. We have excellent beaches and excellent access to beaches through the tours, and pretty much anything that a cruise passenger would need to make sure that they stay here would be pleasurable. And one big plus about that as well, cruise passengers go where they know they're safe, they feel they're safe, they know they're welcome, and they can get basically what turns into a really positive cruise experience. So we have that, and we measure that periodically from time to time to make sure we go in the right direction.
That's good. I was going to ask you also how that shift affected the visitors' experience when they come to the Virgin Islands. Remember now that the Pier Park is the gateway.
So, to my knowledge, visitor experience wasn't a big facet. We didn't have that metric before. We developed the Sewer Bureau and the Tortola Pier Park facility. But having done that and having moved into the 21st century properly, we then had to actually make sure we understood what satisfied passengers, where were we on that scale, how to improve, how to strengthen where we thought we were strong, and also further strengthen where we were weak with respect to that. Because at the end of the day, a cruise isn't about one stop. It's about multiple stops. And we want to make sure that we are number one on every cruise, number one stop on every cruise. So we measure ourselves against our regional entities,
right,
in terms of what they offer, what we offer, make sure there's something there for everyone. And the local component is very important as well, because we saw that a few years ago following the advent of the hurricanes, and even during the COVID as well. The locals kept the facility alive. So it was good that we actually built a facility which wasn't 100% reliant on.
So there's a mix.
There's
a fair good mix.
Solely, yeah.
So would you say that the park redefined what cruise port could be for a small island destination?
Absolutely.
Also.
In more ways than one. Because we have something for everyone. Mm-hmm. We have something for the cruise passengers. We have something for locals. And we provide a significant number of jobs in that facility. Over 300 jobs are provided there. And you can look at how fast the cruise industry is growing. We, this year in 2026, are forecast to have approximately 1.2 million cruise passengers. And that has grown significantly from when we were first incepted. It's grown significantly from when the hurricanes broke us up in 2017, and it's grown significantly and quickly since the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic, which finished in 2023. We've seen significant growth, but we've also seen growth in the satisfaction coming through from the cruise passengers.
I like what you just mentioned about the opportunities and the locals. So you would say that there is a fair increase, or let's say a vast amount of opportunity for the local entrepreneurs there. What are some of the local businesses and entrepreneurs you see developing because of the Pier Park?
So because of the Pier Park, for instance, we can put our local cuisine on display, on show. So people who are coming in, they can actually taste local cuisine, experience the exquisite Virgin Island, sometimes fish and fungi, and other kind of local dishes. We're different. If you go to some of the other cruise facilities in the region, you'll see that we're different, and they will tell you when asked in our various studies that we offer things that some of the other facilities do not offer. So good opportunities for locals to come have a unit. Rent a unit from the Tortola Pier Park Limited, which manages the facility, where I'm the CEO. And once you rent a facility, we operate on a rules-based basis to make your facility, hire all the locals. So you not only put your local cuisine on display for the food and beverage person, you also can make some money for yourself as well and hire all the locals. In addition to that, we have some other units there which do clothing. So local designs, we have several clothing stores owned by local entrepreneurs as well. Food and beverage is the biggest one. The clothing is another. And for the international people, as well as the local, I think we have one local entity, we have jewelry as well, which is a huge component in the facility. And we are looking for any other opportunity that we have to put local things on display and make sure we continue to enrich the mix of tenants and tenant offerings that we put in show for on display for the locals. And I'll tell you this, frankly speaking, I think government and the BVI Ports Authority were very wise to invest in the facility as it is, because we're the best game in town at the moment. I'm not sure anyone could have foreseen that, but you just come on the weekend and you'll see how many people actually are coming there. How many people can come and keep an event there? We have events for children. We have events so people want to get healthy. You can go on the lawn. You can do exercises. We have events done by government entities, and we have events done by non-profit organizations as well.
I was going to ask you, how do we help showcase the Virgin Islands culture by the facility? And you just give me some of that. One of the things I like when I visit the Pier Park, when the cruisers come off, they're greeted with, you have this little coconut spot,
That's right.
and everybody loves a good glass of coconut water.
That's right.
So you have it right there at the entrance when they come off.
Yes.
And you also have another local establishment that showcases, I think it's the mint candy and the toffee and some of those things there for them to entice them to want to see more.
Yes.
So that is really good, and I'm happy to hear about the blend and that we are different.
Yeah, we also have a newly minted, very small facility, small but growing, where they're making jewelry now, owned by a local at the moment, and we're hoping that grows into something bigger, but they will actually sell you locally made jewelry. Right?
Nice.
So that is something that is new, unique, and we're happy to see that. We would like to see more of that sort of stuff, because as far as we're concerned, locals should be the main beneficiaries of the facility that was built by the BVI Ports Authority and the government.
And that's why persons want to visit, because they want to experience and see what we have that they can take back with them from the BVI.
Absolutely. This physically enables them to take a piece of the BVI back physically.
Nice.
But they can also take a piece of the BVI back culturally as well, because, for instance, on inaugural calls, what we do is we make sure we put local culture on display with the local mocha jumbies,
and the dancers,
local dancers as well, and we encourage the tourists to join in and have some fun as well with respect to that.
Yeah.
So, that's part of the question. Unfortunately, because some of the participants who do these in school, we can't do it every day for every ship, but we make sure that any new ship that comes, they're greeted, in that fashion.
Nice. One of the things I want us to sort of lay out clearly for the listeners is the connection of the Tortola Pier Park to BVI Ports Authority.
Yes.
Because as you know, when we do any engagements internationally, they say BVI Ports Authority.
Yes.
Sometimes it's in partnership with the Tortola Pier Park and our tourism board.
Yes.
So how does the Tortola Pier Park fit into the broader mission of the BVI Ports Authority?
So Tortola Pier Park Limited is a management company which was set up to manage the facility. And just before we get into the relationship, I will say a part of the formation involves setting up what we call an SPV, a special purpose vehicle, which encourages locals to invest in the facility. Those locals up to today have been receiving dividends every year according to the investment they made, and they because it was termed, there was 3 tranches of 7, 10, and 15-year investments. When those terms are due, they get their money back. So BVI Ports Authority actually has overridden that. BVI Ports Authority is the owner of TPPL.
Okay.
So you can say basically that's our mother or father or parents. And we make sure that, we follow any guidelines set by that. The berthing agreements have been signed by the Port Authority, and we have certain guidelines to follow to ensure that we remain within and consistent with the berthing agreements, so that we can have more cruise ships come back and stuff like that. But also the Port Authority has oversees a board which runs the Tortola Pier Park. So as CEO, I report to a board, and members of this board, most members of the board are appointed by the BVI Ports Authority.
Okay.
So even if we market the cereal on the Tortola Pier Park, we're really marketing what I think is the largest asset of BVI Ports Authority. So we're marketing the ports.
And very important, because for BVI Ports, of course, everyone knows that we are actually the movers of ferry, cruise, and also cargo. And this is a very big portfolio.
And cruise is a huge portfolio, I believe, for BVI Ports.
Yes.
And cruise is just a sub-segment of the main tourism product. But as you can see, I believe it is the fastest growing. I've actually done the metrics to confirm that, but it seems to be the fastest growing sub-segment of that, and we got to make sure we protect it just to continue to be as successful as we have been over the past 10 years.
I quite agree. I quite agree on that. So why is it important for us to see the park as part of a larger port and economic ecosystem versus a standalone development?
Well, we're certainly not standalone. BVI Ports Authority supports us. They created us, and they continue to support us. And our job is to make sure we strengthen the brand, which was created through the BVI Ports Authority, which we try to do. And not only just strengthen the brand, but strengthen all the facets associated with good cruise ratings, ensuring that the money keeps coming in from the cruise industry, which benefits not only the Ports Authority, but benefits the territory as well. As I indicated before, job creation, well over 300 jobs. I think, to my knowledge, is about 350s. Sometimes it even goes higher on very, very busy periods.
And you're talking about jobs at the port facility, at the Tortola Pier Park facility, but we also have to remind the listeners and viewers that it also goes beyond that.
That's right.
Because you have your tour guides.
That's right.
You have your external business, the taxis,
right.
and everybody. So it's built outside of the Pier Park.
Everyone in the transport sector.
Yes.
The local tour agents.
Yes.
They're local tour agents. The tour agents are local, but we also have independent taxis. So if a passenger didn't book a tour aboard a ship, they can actually come here and decide, I want to go to King Garden Bay, just look at the beach, have lunch and come back. Or I want to go to Brewers Bay, or I want an island tour. I want to go to Long Bay and Beef Island, see the eastern side of the island. Or I want an island tour. And I want to have lunch as well and do some other things as well. So it's a showcase. So through the lens of the BVI Ports Authority, Pier Park actually can do that. And that allows us to do that without taking the port off the main mission, which you mentioned before.
Right. So we've been through a lot as a territory. So I want to talk a little bit now about resilience of the Tortola Pier Park and some lessons that we would have learned through that. I remember having a conversation with you most recently, and we were talking about that time that we don't like to go back to, but it is significant because we demonstrated the resilience of not only the territory but the Pier Park, and also we had some lessons learned.
That's right.
So we've gone through those major challenges over the years. What, in your opinion, has this taught us about resilience?
So we are very resilient people in the territory. The Virgin Islands are absolutely resilient, and this has been proved over and over again. Take 2017. Which territory and its residents could have survived 2 Category 5 hurricanes hitting you 2 weeks apart, and even prior to that, major flooding, and then we rode back 1 year later? So in September 2017, that was the story. 2 major Category 5 hurricanes devastated us. A lot of roofs were off.
No cruise lines.
A lot of livelihoods are gone. And we, with the aid of the Ports Authority and with the aid of one of our partners, international partners called the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association,
CCA.
We got the cruise executives to help a multifaceted team to guide us back to where we could safely get the passengers back again. And we were able, people said it couldn't be done in a year. We did it in a year. The initial estimate was 2 years. But due to the resilience of the people, a lot of people chipped in. And we had the first visitors after the September 2017 in October 2018. And we really must thank Disney Cruise Lines for that, because they actually became a part of our team. We visited the Ops Committee for the FCCA and on their urging, and they partnered significantly. BVI Ports Authority is a partner with them, so we got access to them through the Ports Authority. And that worked like a dream. They came and told us, here's where you got to look at first. Here's where you got to focus. This is what you need to do. And a lot of it was like taking medicine, but we had to do that. And that proves our resilience that we rolled back 1 year later. But if only to underpin that point, a couple of years later, along comes COVID-19. And through COVID-19, many countries didn't quite understand it. Many countries closed their borders, including ours. And so cruise passengers were not able to come. But through the ports was able to be visionary in that respect. They organized what we call warm layups with Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. And through those warm layups, we got people accustomed to seeing a cruise ship on the dock. So even though it was a COVID day, no physical touches or anything, and then we learned the do's and don'ts associated, how to keep your people safe, followed all the health protocols that were associated with it. And now we have again arisen because of our resilience from the COVID-19 pandemic to a place now where we're seeing 1.2 thousand cruise passengers forecast to visit us. Yeah.
So it's definitely demonstrated that, and I heard you talk about the lessons.
Yes.
But if you had to identify specific, well, I'll leave it open. Any one or two that stood out to you, lessons that maybe other island destinations can learn from us, what would those be?
The lessons I believe, the key lesson learned, I think, was through collaboration. So we use international collaboration with FCCA and the cruise lines. Through that, we were able to have schools donated, for instance, to Virgin Gorda by one cruise line. Through that affiliation, we were able to have Disney guide us back to health. And then we were able to use local collaboration to implement the plan that we did. You remember I mentioned we had a multifaceted group.
Yes.
That multifaceted group included people from all the ministries. So we had the health ministry, we had solid waste, we had communication and works. And wherever we were told, call whichever resource you need to get this thing back on the road. And we had very good coordination. It speaks as well to how we work in the BVI. We do not have a FEMA to reach out to like some other places.
Right.
And so we rely on our own initiatives, our own cooperation, our own collective strength, because together we're stronger. And through that collaboration, we're stronger today.
So that's the lesson, and that's the key. Collaboration.
Local collaboration
word.
To make sure that you can implement whatever is good for the territory. International collaboration to make sure that once you implement the local lessons learned, the local things, that the international entities will come back quickly.
Excellent. So let's focus a bit on the future now. What can we look ahead for, or the next chapter of the Tortola Pier Park?
Recently done a strategic plan in the Pier Park to take us to the period 2026 to 2030. And that strategic plan literally charts the way for us in the future. So let's just look at a few things in that. One, the new trend for cruise lines is towards a greener environment. So cruise lines now want to do greener things. In concert with that and in keeping with that, what we're doing is we're doing a major solar photovoltaic project. In short, what that does is it allows us to put solar cells on our roofs and generate electricity. We are doing this in consultation with BVI Ports Authority and in consultation with BVI Electricity Corporation to do that. And that eases the pressure on the grid, the electricity grid. But more than that, it allows us to reduce the carbon footprint for the territory. And we may, I'm hoping that we become the first green cruise port within the region. And the project is already on the way. We split it 2 phases. One phase this year involves some buildings and will generate about 50% of the power that's required, and the next 50% next year. And we're doing it during the season where we have less cruise passengers, so that we have as little interference as possible in that industry. That's just one facet.
Testing.
In addition to that, we're looking at making sure we implement recycling within the facility itself in concert with that. So that makes us a truly green facility. In addition to that, we're looking to make sure we can expand the cruise footprint, because we're looking to, for instance, bring Anegada into play. Anegada has not been into play with cruise passengers because of the way it is, how far it is. But one of the things we've baked into our strat plan is to have a seaplane land at the Pier Park, take cruise passengers and locals alike across to Anegada multiple times a day, and so you can do a tour of Anegada. Cruise passengers, we know, we've learned historically, do not like to take trips more than 15-20 minutes. But a seaplane going to Anegada is going to be 15-20 minutes. Same way, you could, if you're in Alaska, you could land on a glacier.
Yes.
You can go to Anegada, you can land, and that will help Anegada to get developed, help the tourism product to get developed as well. And that brings Anegada into play in terms of making sure you encourage local entrepreneurship. We're also looking at a vacant lot we have there called Lot 5 to use that as a means of facilitating what we call home porting. You may ask me, what is home porting?
Yes.
So home porting is where you can start a cruise and end a cruise. At the moment, our port doesn't initiate or end a cruise. But through home porting, we can actually start a cruise, say, on a Sunday and end the cruise on a Saturday. And if we were able, on that vacant lot, to put, let's say, a hotel or a multifaceted thing, you'll have more hotel rooms, say, on the top. You can have meeting rooms there, and you can have establishments on the ground floor. Then we can expand the park while doing all of this. But more importantly, by doing home porting, we also create new streams of opportunities for locals, because there will be opportunities, for instance, to do provisioning.
Yes.
There'll be opportunities to deal with waste from the ship. There'll be opportunities to deal with powering the ships.
Like we do with the yacht.
Exactly.
Yes.
And there are so many opportunities that can be created. And we're just waiting until the time is right that we can actually do that. But through the strat plan, that is in the plan, the 5-year plan. So we're hoping that within that 5-year plan, this can happen. We're also looking at how we can actually expand the facility to encourage mega yachts as well. To come in and do that as well. And even the seaplane service we spoke about, we understand that there is demand and interest in the North Sound area. Some of the passengers who may want to come and do a fam trip in the Pier Park and do some shopping.
Right.
We can easily pick them up and drop them off.
And take them
together. Yes.
Well, all of that sounds really exciting, and I'm actually looking forward to the seaplane in particular.
Yes.
And I'm also looking forward to the home porting opportunity as well.
Yep.
I think there will be two good wins for us as a territory to continue to stimulate the economy in many ways.
Therein lies the beauty about what BVI Ports has done in terms of the vision in creating this facility, because it doesn't stand still. It has to grow. And it is growing. And you can see it's growing in a way which perhaps the founders initially never expected.
Didn't think about it.
But there's so much more in the strategic plan, that helps us from a visionary point of view to stay ahead of most of the other ports within the region as well, because as a territory with multiple areas, we want to bring a lot of sister islands into play.
Yes.
Make sure everyone can get a piece of the pie. Even though the main cruise facility is on Tortola.
It's on Tortola, because we have some beautiful smaller keys that they can visit, even if it's just a few hours.
Yes.
Take some nice selfies.
That's right.
And tag us back when they post them on.
And showcase the BVI.
Yes.
Showcase the Virgin Islands that it truly is the most beautiful place on earth.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, Vance, this was really good chatting with you on the Tortola Pier Park. Its history, accomplishments, and also to let us know where we're going in the future, and we're excited about that. But if you had to sum it all up, what does the Pier Park mean to the future of the Virgin Islands? If you had to sum it all up in a sentence.
If you ask me to sum it up in one word, I would say it is key. Key being the operative word, right? But I will just say that the BVI, as we know, has got the offshore financial sector and tourism as its main economic pillars. And the Silver Romney Tortola Pier Park, as an extension to the dock, is one of the significant footings in the cruise tourism pillar. Okay. Through that lens, other areas can continue to flourish, but we're pretty sure that cruise tourism is going to be there for a long time to come. And to that cruise tourism, a lot of our other industries and residents can actually benefit. A lot of the vendors, for instance, training. We're bringing training in, but we're not just training the people in the Pier Park. We are working with National Parks Trust and the BVI Tourist Board to make sure that vendors everywhere in the territory can get trained, properly trained.
And the customer service standards will be maintained very high.
And that's another facet as well of the strategic plan. We want to make the Pier Park a center of customer service excellence. And it starts with training. So we're going to have a continuous regime of training, but it's going to benefit the people of the territory. And all of this is basically through the lens of a vision created by virtue of BVI Ports Authority.
Excellent, and that's a great note for us to wrap up today's conversation. I think one thing is very clear, that the Cyril B. Romney Tortola Pier Park represents more than infrastructure. It represents opportunity for business, for our culture, and for the continued growth of our Virgin Islands. On behalf of BVI Ports Authority, Vance, I want to thank you for stopping in and being a part of our Portside conversations today.